The Edmonton Oilers not only lost their game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, they also potentially lost Connor McDavid. Now, as far as I know, at the time of this recording, we we do not have an update on Connor McDavid. I believe that to be the case. Just looking here quickly before we fully get into this, but no, I do not believe that we have an injury update here on Connor McDavid right now. This would obviously be real breaking news. Losing best player in world, bad news for team that lost him. But this would be obviously a significant, gigantic loss for the Edmonton Oilers, who already off to a slow start this season, coming off of, they had won back-to-back games, maybe some things were turning around, had points in 3 straight, and then just get absolutely beat up on by the Columbus Blue Jackets right now. They are 4-5-1 to start this season off, and this year's struggle's a little bit different than what happened last year. And obviously what happened last year led them to, within a game of the Stanley Cup final, but the struggles of this team last year, it was basically all goaltending, right? Like all of the blame was on, it was Skinner, it was Campbell, none of that was working. And so there was a little bit of a panic of, okay, we need to try to figure this out. This year, they're not scoring. They have 22 goals in the NHL this season, which puts them behind the Seattle Kraken and Calgary Flames. By the way, Edmonton has played one more game than both of those teams. They've played 2 more games than Vancouver and have scored 5 fewer goals. They have played the same amount of games as San Jose and have 1 fewer goal. They just aren't scoring at all right now. And for a team that is almost based entirely on how awesome their offense is, that on the one hand, it's a bit troubling because that's supposed to be your strength and it's not working right now. On the other hand, you do have to assume that at some point that corrects itself. And that is where you get maybe a little bit more optimism on the Oilers side because, okay, well, these guys are obviously going to turn it around. That's if McDavid stays healthy. If McDavid is not in there, look, then you go with Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as your 1 and 2 down the middle, and it doesn't suck. It doesn't give you the best 1-2 punch down the middle, maybe in the history of the sport, but it does give you still a good 1-2 punch. But still, losing Dylan Holloway, and look, like maybe Dylan Holloway didn't fall into this conversation anyway, but for the most part, losing Dylan Holloway and having an offense that, I mean, they went out and got a couple of other guys, but for the most part, I don't know how many actual top 6 forwards this team has. It's kind of on McDavid and Draisaitl to help carry those guys, and Nuge is fine, but he ain't carry those guys good at this point. So if this is going to be a significant injury for Edmonton, then this is going to be a real challenge for this group now. And if Leon Draisaitl, not that he hasn't earned that gigantic contract that he signed, but if he wants to earn it more, now is the time to show that you can be a number 1 dude for a while. Again, the good news for the Oilers is that they have shown before that they can go on a real run and get back into the postseason. But that was the one side of that sort of a thing happening. Remember also last year, everyone got pissed that Vegas was playing the injury thing. And, well, we can't just, all these guys are hurt. We couldn't possibly bring them back before the regular season. They're all banged up. Oh, look at that. They're healthy for the regular season. What happened? They ended up having to play on the road. And it is a very long road to go from wildcard team all the way through to winning the Stanley Cup and having to play every game 7 or even just every game 1 on the road and try to win it that way. Can the Edmonton Oilers still make the postseason? Yes, absolutely. I would still say that they're a pretty good bet to make the postseason. But if they want to make any noise in those playoffs, I do think that given the grind that they went through last year, this is a team that kind of understands, hey, maybe an easier path would be nice. They're not going to get that if this guy is out for a very long time. So can they survive without him? Yes. Can they even make the playoffs without him? Of course they can. But to get to that ultimate destination in a competitive Western Conference, you need to give yourself as many advantages as you can. And right now, the Oilers weren't doing that with McDavid, and they're certainly not going to do that without him.